Isn't it great to start over in life, have a fresh start, reboot your life?
Yes.
Good. How many times have you rebooted your life, you think?
Probably 1,000 times.
1,000 times?
Yes.
Tell me why is that?
Well, as a matter of fact, I posted something on my Facebook page.
Okay.
And it said something about every morning we have a chance to start again.
Okay.
We have a chance to make a change.
Very true, right.
And be better or do better.
Wow.
Every morning.
Yeah.
So I think that every day is a chance to do something different, do it in a different way if
Yes.
it's not working.
Right.
I just think that fresh starts or just starting again is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, you know, I never looked at it as it being a daily process, but now that's really a great way of looking at it. I always looked at like starting over or a fresh start was something that had to do with a life on a big scale or something like, say, moving from high school to college or moving from a new neighborhood. That's always a good start. Or changing relationships, you know. More so than not, and yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, it's just like, you know, someone buy a new vehicle.
Yeah, true.
Or, you know, it's fresh, it's new. You
Right.
have that smell in there. It just
Yes,
smells
the new
good.
car smell. Yeah.
Yeah. So the same thing is in life, even in relationships, or you know, relationships come and go.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just fresh to maybe just start again.
Yes.
I know that some people, you know, if they're going through a divorce or something, sometimes they look at that. It's like everything is just messed up and it's all over.
Right.
And it's gloom and doom from there.
Yeah, right.
But they can start again.
Yes.
And there is someone else, or just starting fresh again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling because really you can kind of redefine yourself. You can kind of look back at what you didn't like about yourself or things that kind of happened and like, I'm going to change that. I mean, we do it every New Year.
Yes.
You know, we do it every New Year, and we're usually done about January 15th with that, but every New Year you make a fresh start. But yeah, it's really good, and it's funny because, you know, as I gotten older, what I thought my age would be when I looked at younger, I thought that would be the rest of my life. You know, when I reach a certain age, it's going to remain this way. But life has this wonderful way of really telling you nothing is permanent. Nothing is like stagnant.
Yes. Yeah. We had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Carolyn Covington, top beauty industry leader across the world and mentor to thousands, including me. Come on and join the conversation.
Well, you know, as a child, I always knew I was going to be a hairstylist.
Yes.
You know, you get those dolls at Christmas time, and the next day she's got an asymmetrical hairstyle or braids or something intricate going on.
Yes.
So then I decided that there was an opportunity came to go to Bladensburg High School for vocation. They started in the 10th grade, so you go 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yes.
And I got accepted. And that's where the journey began.
Yes.
And so I started in school, and I would go to school all day, and then I would leave and catch the bus to work, to a hair salon, of course. Always been in and around here my entire life.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's kind of where, coming out at 18, getting licensed at 18
Wow.
was really a awesome opportunity.
Yes.
You know, so I'm very grateful for that beginning.
Wow. And so right now, how would you encourage others, like women, and especially girls anyway, they're coming up and they want to be a cosmetologist? Should they look for a school like this? Where can they find a school where they can actually finish by the 12th grade with having a cosmetology license?
So if you have a daughter who is very interested in the beauty field of any kind, makeup, hair, you want to go ahead and encourage them to do this at a very young age. Doesn't mean they don't have to go to college afterwards, you know, but it's good to have something, a trade under your belt, and it has to be a passion. So it has to be something that's heartfelt. You have to have a craft. You need a little talent for it. But I think it's awesome opportunity if you can get it then, because afterwards it's going to cost you a little.
Yes.
But you know, it's a great, rewarding career.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
was it difficult? Was it hard? Was it challenging to go to school, high school at the same time, and then take a cosmetology course? Because that's a lot of material and information and a lot of stuff to cover.
Yeah, but you know, for me, the cosmetology was what I was really focused on. You know, as a child, I always said, I'm going to be a famous hairstylist, travel the world,
Yes.
and have a fleet of salons. And so it was just like dreams to come to reality. So I'm a big dreamer, you know, always have been, always will be. And I just had to push for that dream. So I had to master the other 3 classes as well to graduate.
Okay.
But cosmetology was always just on the forefront for me.
Wow.
You know, and working afterwards. I'd work all day. I mean, after I got off from school, I'd work until 9, 10 o'clock at night and still go home and get up and go to school next morning. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's good. And you know, and you can, that's amazing, because when you have vision and you have a burning passion to do something, it's during those many hours, it doesn't bother you. You know,
no.
You know, it's like you're just doing this. And I remember a long time ago, you know, when you have an idea or a vision or something that you want to do, you'll wake up, you think about it. You go to sleep thinking about it,
Yes.
you know, and it's the difference between a passion and something, you know, or, you know, some people go to school to be an RN and they wind up doing something else, you know, their passion. Sort of they were an artist or something, you know, they go to school to be an RN and then I've known some people who have degrees and they left that and followed their passion.
Right,
sometimes.
absolutely,
So that's
absolutely.
amazing. So let's talk about in-flight. How did that start? Let's talk about it. And where?
Okay,
What's your
so
first location?
Bladensburg, Maryland. After I graduated, I worked several different chain salons so that I could learn the corporate structure of how to structure a hair salon. I didn't want just any old little place. I already knew I was going to have a fleet of salons, so I had to go in and learn how to be a manager, very young age. And then at the age of 21, the opportunity came to purchase a salon that was in that area, right across the street from the high school that I went to. So I mean, how great was that to be able to give back to the students that were in cosmetology right across the street to come over and work with me, and they did. So it's really amazing because everybody said, well, where did you get the name In-Flight from? And so right at the time when I was purchasing the salon, my trip was due. Every year I took a trip to London or somewhere to go and advance myself. And that's so important that you go and get advanced training. So it was time to go to London, and I said, well, I can't put the trip on the back burner. I still have to do what I have to do. So I was like, while I'm away, I'll be thinking of this fantastic name, and I'm a concept girl. So it has to have a concept as well with it. So I was away for 4 weeks, and I wasn't thinking about anything about a salon at that time. I was trying to get my training and enjoying myself, okay, and shopping until I could drop.
Yes.
And so anyway, when I got on the plane to come back, I can remember I was at Heathrow Airport, and I was rushing as always, jumped in the seat, first class. I mean, I was really spending money back then. And I went to fasten my seatbelt, and the young lady said, "You are now in flight." And I looked at the guy next to me, and I'm like, "That's it, that's it."
Wow.
And he was like, "That's what?" "My salon, In-Flight Hair Salon." So anyway, I closed my eyes, flew back to JFK, and all the way back, I was just creating this whole salon scenario concept, everyone wearing uniforms and flight suits, how I was going to have the salon designed. The front desk was a cockpit, you know, boarding passes, you know, a whole concept behind it, because people believe in your visions, they see your vision, they want to be a part of things. So everything I've ever done has always been a team effort, and I invite you to be a part of it, and that's what makes it successful. And then from there, an opportunity, 2 years into it, a lot of other things happened in my life as a stylist and a salon owner. I had an opportunity to be part of a huge photo session and do models for a magazine that was coming out called Black Passion. So I did my 5 models. I felt so great about it. I'm like, oh, I know I'm in. And so at the end of the session, I said, well, I need a picture. I need a promo picture. So just go ahead and take a shot of me. So I took my picture. So the book was developed in Japan. Now, this is a big international magazine. So it was going to be, they were going to do the selection in Japan. Well, when they brought it back to DC to premiere it, when I got there to the premiere, I was late. Everybody's, you're in it, you're in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in it. And I was on the cover of it. I was thinking, which one of my models is in it? Who's in it?
Yes.
I was on the cover, and that just did it for me. I mean, that book was sold internationally everywhere, and I was on the cover of it. And so I became that face for the very first edition of the Black Passion magazine, which I think they're probably on like the 70th edition now. That's
Yes.
a very long time ago.
Yes.
And it just sort of started moving things for me,
yes.
shaking up the world for me. And then from there, I had an opportunity to come to North Carolina. Never had been to North Carolina other than passing through on the way to Atlanta, because we go to Atlanta for the hair show every year, of course.
And what year was that?
That was 1984. I came to North Carolina, and I opened In-Flight Salon downtown Salisbury Street. And from there, as I hired people that were very good at business as well as hair, I partnered with them, and we opened up our chain of In-Flight Salons. So we had Durham, Wake Forest, Greenville, North Carolina. Then I doubled back to Richmond, Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia.
Amazing.
So we were just one big old team of In-Flight Hair Salon, and we traveled and did classes, education for other stylists.
Well, you know what, that blows me away, because I remember, I think it was the late 1980s or maybe the early 1990s. I remember someone saying, there's a woman in Raleigh, and she owns In-Flight. And they were talking about how beautiful that salon was and how you had it going on. And it's
Yeah, we
amazing.
just wanted to put North Carolina on the map, and I think that's what we did through the salons, training, doing hair, being magazine editorial. I mean, we were in all the magazines at Raleigh, North Carolina, In-Flight Hair Salon, and those things just helped us to create the buzz that we needed for marketing and branding to make the business successful.
So after all these years, 40 years of being in the beauty industry and the stores, the products, traveling everywhere and doing all of those things that people would just dream of to do, we'll just talk about your life-changing news, the year 2000.
Okay, well, the year 2000, actually it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I wanted to venture into the spa industry. I don't stay still long, So it's like, okay, here's my new horizons. And I had the opportunity to start Jolie the Day Spa in Cameron Village. And there were already, there's Jolie the Day Spa in Bethesda, Maryland, and in Atlanta. And it was just like, wow, this is like the biggest thing could ever happen. I thought I had really reached the stars that I'd been striving to reach. Right then, I got my news that I had retinitis pigmentosa.
Okay, and what is that?
It is a hereditary genetic eye disease that eventually you lose your sight. It starts out where you lose all of your peripheral vision and you only have central. So they take your driver's license because you can't drive if you can't see what's to the left, to the right, what's at the top and what's at the bottom. You are colorblind, so now, but it worked out perfect because hairstylists wear all black anyway, and I still wear all black.
Yes,
so
yes.
I can keep it together that way.
Yes.
And at night or in dim lighting, you only see silhouettes. So you don't see any details.
Okay.
And I've been a detailed person my whole life. Of course, I've been styling hair, doing makeup, wrapping everybody up all beautiful on the outside, and but it was okay until he told me it's an incurable disease. There's no cure for it.
So that was devastating.
Devastating. So I got to thinking. I said, well, you know what? That's okay. I still have plenty I have to do. I just got to do it a little faster. Not that I wasn't already speeding,
Yes.
So with that, I just kind of put it on the back burner. I was in denial.
Okay.
So I continued on my journey. So I did a couple years, 2 years at Jolie, and then we were purchased. So I got to be a part of a huge acquisition. An investment company purchased 50 day spas across the country, and we were one of them. After I left there, I didn't want to stop. I knew if I stopped that it was going to take a toll over me. My life was going to totally change. I'd get stuck. So I just continued on. So I purchased the Elegance Day Spa, and I jumped right in there and staffed that and kept going. And then I purchased...
I remember that deal.
Yeah, in North Raleigh. Then I went to Durham and I purchased the Body Cafe, and I jumped in there, and I was working both of those at the same time. And then I had an opportunity to help a young lady with Studio 10. And then I purchased one of those and with a partner, and it had a name change later, it's Salon 10, and it's still in existence. And then I went up on Creedmoor Road and did Aqua Salon and Spa.
Yes, yes.
And
that was beautiful.
yeah, I
Inside.
enjoyed it. And I was just like doing this thing, trying to keep going, trying to figure out what's going to happen when there's no vision, so because they couldn't tell me when.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm just going to make this work. But it came a time where I realized it was time to go home. Time to close down shop. I had fulfilled that 5-year lease and wasn't about to sign another one,
Yes.
not knowing where, I would be in another 5 years. So I had to close the salon and bring it on home.
Yes. Now,
And that was devastating.
devastating. And so you went through a depression, and how long was that?
Yeah, I had to take a year off, and it's really interesting to go into that dark place because I'd been there so many times with other people.
Okay.
And, all of my staff and different people that I've helped through their depression, but I've never, ever had a downside in my entire life. My life has just been great, totally blessed from a child all the way up.
Yes.
And so I had to fall into that dark place. I took a year and I sat right here in this house and wrestled with it because I'm that fix-it girl. I fixed your life, my life, everybody's life in the salon.
Yes.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
And I was trying to fix it myself.
Yeah.
And that's when God spoke to me and he let me know, you gotta let it go. Let me take control of every little detail of your life. Take some time off. Give yourself a break,
Yes.
So that's what, and he let me know that you can't just always help. You need to accept help as well. And that was one of those things where I just never really ever reached out for any help with anyone. And I had to realize I had to get up and go and seek help.
Yes. So when you stayed here at the house, did you go out much?
No, I'd be in the house all week. On Sunday mornings, I get up, put my ponytail on top of my head, put a little lipstick on, go to church, and back in the house.
Wow.
Yeah. For someone who's never been in their house, we built a house, and I was in the salon or either on the road traveling. So I finally got an opportunity to experience my own home. But experience it in the way of having to learn how to now maneuver through my own home.
Wow.
So I'm not getting to see maybe the beauty of it that if I had slowed down a little earlier prior to this. So you never know what life is going to have for you later down the road.
Those curveballs, that's what we call them.
Yes. Or being blindsided. That's my new
Okay,
thing.
yes.
It just hits you somewhere where you have to stop and stand still. You have to stop, stand still, and just let God move. And so he told me to get up and stop refusing vocational rehab and not wanting to talk to the social workers. And I'm like, okay, really?
A little stubborn there.
Yeah. I'm very stubborn when it comes to those kind of things. So I had to go ahead and accept where I was in life, and that if I didn't get help, where I might end up in life, with what my rest of my life was going to look like. So I allowed the social worker to come here. I couldn't make any excuses as to why I couldn't get to her, but she knew I didn't drive. So they came out. I think a young lady, it came out to interview me. Very nice young lady, Portia, interviewed me. Then she said, next you'll get a counselor. They have their whole little step program. So then the counselor came out too. I was hoping she'd say, come to her. And I said, I can't make it today. But couldn't have any excuses.
Yes.
So the counselor came out, Danielle, wonderful counselor. Told me of all of the different programs that they have and encouraged me to come because I was still on the fence, like, am I going to go over there?
A little bit out of denial, but still in there. Just
Still hanging on to it. Hanging on to it. And that's still have moments now. But so she introduced me to RLCB, Raleigh Lions Clinic for the Blind, and it saved my life. She took me there. I met Mr. Steve Murphy, and he is a wonderful man who has RP. And that just lit my world up that he had RP, because now I could ask all the questions, you know, what should I be thinking about? What's going to happen? What's next? You know, and he's so informational, and he knows everyone, and he connected me to such great people, and just encouragement. His first words were, "There's life after blindness," and that right there, it just sort of permeated. And I was thinking, you know what? Why am I've never been someone to get knocked down and sit down. What in the world is going on?
Yes.
Yeah, so I got back up with that. Yeah. So Mr. Murphy actually set me up for my assistive technology classes with Mr. Lee Davis.
Yes.
And he was teaching me all about Siri and the iPhone and the iPad. But what I really learned from Mr. Davis, I appreciate even more so, is that you don't have to learn it all today. You know, this blind process is going to be a process. So, you know, take in what I could take in, because it's a lot, you know, to try to take in and learn how to do things in technology without having sight.
Yes.
And so they have all this great assistive technology, but you still have to learn it, you know. And just in talking with him and the hours that I spent with him, just the encouragement. You know, encouragement is priceless.
Yes.
You know, and just encouraging me to embrace where I am and know that I don't have to change who I am, and don't have to change the things that I do in life.
Yes.
You know, there's always something else. There's ways people will help you.
Right.
People will help you, and that's what's been great about it. And then I had the opportunity to actually meet Mr. James Benton by sitting on the auxiliary board at the Raleigh Lions Clinic clinic with him for the blind, and just to just be amazed at the things that he has, the challenges he's overcome, the things that he's doing in the community, and being blind. So all these people I'm telling you about are totally blind. But what really I like for people to understand what blind looks like is that there's blind and then there's visually impaired. So I had to learn all this. I'm still learning all of this.
There's a
so the
difference.
blind have no light perception. They see nothing. Okay. Visually impaired is what I am, which is with RP, we still have central vision. So I still can see, I can still use assistive technology, I can use things to enhance, enlarge, work on the computer. So they're two totally different things. But my instructor is totally blind. And he's able to teach me how to type, how to use the JAWS, and everything there is to do with assisted technology. Yeah, it's amazing learning from a blind person. Could you imagine? Wow. Yeah, amazing. I call them my brilliant blind friends. Yes.
I love that.
Yes, so brilliant. So brilliant.
Well, that says a lot. You know, and when you think about it, some people that are totally blind are doing more than people who have sight.
Absolutely, that is what I'm finding so much of. They're eager to learn. They're eager to grow. They're focused.
Yes, and I know that sometimes they can sense other people around, or.
Well, you rely on your senses.
Yeah,
I'm finding that now. I'm learning to do it.
Yes.
I'm learning to do it, because without the sight, you can. Actually, I can feel the beauty in people more now than what I could see in them when I was styling all these people sitting in and out of my chair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing. It's amazing how you can just feel beauty. Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to take this time to personally thank you for all the support and good tidings we've had over our program. And if you could take the time to like us on Facebook at Coffee and Cream TV, as well as check out our website at ReConnectLive.org, and we can stay connected. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Coffee and Cream.